So butterfly, interesting. Gemini, I think, also got the butterfly. So you might want to check out the Gemini reading. Butterfly energy. This equates to the Three of Swords in the Tarot, which speaks of heartache, pain, past heartache, pain, and the metamorphosis and transforming effect that pain and change can have on us as souls, right? You know, when we think about the butterfly as well, it's this beautiful air energy here, you know, all the phases and stages that a butterfly goes through in terms of, you know, the egg, the caterpillar, the chrysalis, and then has to turn into goo and then literally do the very hard work of growing wings, and then, you know, being in that constricted space until it's ready to really burst out and fly, right? And then it has a relatively short lifespan in this stage of its life. So this butterfly energy, the fact that it's coming up for you in this context, and we're looking at the cobra and the power or the uniqueness or an aspect of your experience being hidden away and then choosing to bring it out to the forefront, how it's going to alienate some, but draw others towards you. I feel like this is because the Three of Swords is about the past, right? It's about past pain that can affect us in the now moment, or in the future. So I feel like there's an aspect of this that's speaking to your past pain and how that past pain or your past experiences could be affecting your choices in the moment, in the now time. Let's go ahead and see what's going on. Let's see what's going on. What's going on, Scorpio? Oh, 2 for 1. I'm here for it. Okay. I feel like these go together. So we've got the Sun in reverse and the 8 of Wands in the upright. So let's talk about it. I'm going to put the Sun in the upright for the sake of the visual here. So this is really beautiful, and I'm really happy to see this because this is reminding me of the cobra being brought out of the darkness and allowing others to see it as it truly is in the bright light of day, as it were. And then the 8 of Wands is upward movement and ascension, right? Its message is travel, communication, opportunity. You know, the Wands rule the realm of the actions that we do or don't take, around the work that we love to do, or around the interpersonal relationships about which we are passionate, right? So this speaks of the fire within us. Then we have the fire of the sun. Cobra energy is fire energy. So there's a lot of fire energy. I definitely saw, you know, the scene in the desert, which is very hot. So it's interesting how that's coming forward for you. I do feel like for some of you, I'm hearing for some of you take it literally. There's something about traveling or going to somewhere of a warmer climate. Even, you know, we're going in the northern hemisphere, spring into summertime into Litha, but I'm hearing even, you know, hotter than where you are, or something to do with, like, you know, being outdoors and benefiting from the influence of the sun and having everything out in the open. So I like that. You know, the fact that I'm really drawn to the horse energy here as well, which speaks of personal freedoms. You know, we're coming out of the time of Beltane season and Rhiannon season, who rides her white mare and invites us to free ourselves from any restrictive elements, whether they be from us, from our past, or whatever have you, because she's the symbol. The white horse is a symbol of freedom in all of its forms. Now, what I'm hearing is love is freedom, right? And let's think about that for a moment. Love is freedom. Now, I mean love in all of its forms. I mean love of what you do. I mean love of another person. I mean love of yourself. I mean love of being alive. Love of your animals, love of your surroundings, love, and all of its forms. Love is freedom. Interesting that that's coming up for you with the butterfly, which is also a symbol of freedom, with growing those wings and escaping the confines of the cocoon, right? Or chrysalis, actually. Cocoon is moths, but you know what I mean. So it's interesting here with the upward movement and ascension and the sun in reverse. Do you see how, like, and reverse this little boy, technically speaking, by the way, traditionally, the sun is about happiness, joy, good health, and wellness. And even in the reverse, it's one of the few keys in the tarot that in the reverse position retains its meaning. So it's a little bit less strong energy, but it's still the sun. It's not a reversal, like in the way that 8 of Wands might be if it were reversed. So it's interesting. Do you see how this little boy is like looking at these wands like, I wonder. And do you remember how I saw the cobra go inside a very thin cylindrical tube until we let it come out and let it be out in the open? Really interesting there. This is highly positive, but I feel like there's an aspect of your experience that wants to be, you know, looked at in the light of day, but also in which ways are you hiding your light under a bushel? That's what I'm seeing. In what ways are you hiding your light under a bushel? And could it be related to the past? Ah, I love it. This is so good. So we have Sagittarius energy here with Temperance. This is really, really nice. So this is such a highly spiritual key, right? This is Archangel Michael. This is about harmony, peace, balance, and patience, right? And then we have the rainbow there in the background, which is so beautiful as well, because that's very 10 of Cups energy, right? It's very much about emotional fulfillment and wellness and happiness, right? But it's not happiness because things are going perfectly per se. It's happiness because your perspective is that of gratitude, right? So it's really, 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 really beautiful energy coming up for you here. I'm also really drawn to the fact that you are a water sign and there's 1 foot in the water and 1 on earth, right? This is fire energy because it's Temperance, but we have the water here. We saw the fire energy of the wands and the sun and the cobra, right? And then we have the water energy here as well, representing you as Scorpio, and the water here in the 8 of Wands. Really, really interesting here. Really, really interesting. But it feels, you know, another aspect of Temperance is it represents the now moment, which is interesting as well with the now moment. The sun as well. It's interesting with let me put this back. The 8 of Wands with the sun and then the Temperance here. And we're talking about hiding your light under a bushel, right? And then we're seeing the sun in the background here. And I really feel like there's a very distinct call to look at how your past could be informing your current choices. And I think some of it may surprise you if you just open your mind to that thought, right? There's something in that. It's like, it might surprise you, and listen, it doesn't mean it's a negative thing, right? Ideally, our past, you know, we learn from our past, but it doesn't necessarily like rule our choices moving forward. It can inform them in a positive, like, you know, mindful way, right? Learning from our experiences, but we don't want our, you know, the past to have too much of a foothold in our present choices. We want to show up as an adult in our adult energy and go, okay, I am not responding to let me just lay this out. So this came up in another reading too. Okay. Gemini reading is coming in really, really strong. So I feel like the same thing came up in the Gemini reading. Check out the Gemini reading. I feel like it's holding hands with this one for some reason. Oh, I know why. We're in Gemini season. It's true. We are in Gemini season. I'm watch that video. These are holding hands. Okay. So along with that, in TA, so transactional analysis theory, it's a form of therapy. It's something I've been learning about a lot. So this is coming up for you. So within transactional analysis, within that concept, there's the child, there's the adult, and there's the parent. Now, ideally, we are in our adult selves, which means that we are responding to the given moment, right? Our child is when we're reacting as we did in the past, and our parent is us reacting to something in the moment like our parents reacted to us or treated us, right? So the parent is learned behavior from the parents. The child is how we reacted as children or in the past. So it's based on the past pain or past experience. And so is the parent. The adult is, I'm in this now moment. I have a clear perspective. I have a balanced perspective with this Temperance here with the 2 cups, right? And I am not reacting. I am responding to what's coming to me in this now moment, in no way influenced by the past. Also not influenced by any anxiety over the future, right? That's coming up for you. It is coming up for you very much. Again, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So it is very human and understandable to be in our parent or in our child at any given time, right? We are humans. But you're being called to just be a bit mindful of that adult energy within you, because I feel like it's directly related to, again, some way in which you're keeping yourself small or keeping the best parts of you hidden. It could be because you're afraid it's going to have a polarizing effect, or you might lose some people, or things may shift in an uncomfortable way. But with the butterfly here, you are being asked to shift in an uncomfortable way. I just got shivvies. That's the point. Shift in an uncomfortable way, because what it leads to is boom, Knight of Swords. So beautiful. By the way, do you see those eagles on that horse tunic there? You are the golden eagles, and it's eagles on a golden cloth, right? As Scorpios, you are the golden eagles. I love that you're coming up for yourself in your own reading in this way, especially in the third position, which is what you're heading towards, right? So the Knight of Swords is linking up with more air energy with her at the butterfly. What's interesting as well is this represents the air signs: Gemini, Aquarius, Libra. Libra is the butterfly, right? You guys are the eagle. Gemini, I just mentioned that reading, and the Aquarius is the water bearer, which is the star key, but there's also an aspect of Aquarian in this as well, because we've got the 2 cups and on land and water. So it's all of this. And then also Iris is the flower for Aquarius, or actually it's for the month of February, technically. So it's Aquarius, Pisces, but interesting how all of these signs are kind of popping up in your reading as well. But Nine of Swords, traditionally speaking, this is about moving forward with a certain conviction, truth, and also communication that can be blunt in nature, but that is inherently true. This is the black and white of it. That's Knight of Swords. So I feel like with this, with the 8 of Wands in the upright, the Sun in reverse, then we have the Temperance, and we're talking about the past and, you know, what aspects of yourself are you not allowing to exist within the forefront. And we're also looking at that Cobra energy as a personal point of power, but also representing the Hanged Man with taking the time out in order to flip your perspective and see something differently, to have more autonomy. I feel like that's the whole point of this as well, around this, you know, asking you to shift uncomfortably. The whole point of it is so that you have complete autonomy over your experience and where you're going. That's the point of this. This is the roadmap around that, right? And then we have the Knight of Swords, which is a complete clarity. Knight of Swords is clarity meets movement. Really beautiful. Let's go ahead and get your advice. Let's go ahead and get your advice. Advice for Scorpio. Oh, so good. This could not be better. Oh, look what's at the bottom. 9 of Cups. Wish fulfillment with the butterfly on top. Okay. Well, I feel like keeping that there, because we're talking about shifting uncomfortably so that you have full autonomy over your experience. And I like that it's linking it to wish fulfillment in this way. I'm going to keep that right there. Hierophant is the advice, which is so perfect. It's Taurus energy here. You know, the Hierophant comes along and says, everything is exactly as it's meant to be. We're not learning on a curve, like everything is exactly as it's meant to be. Whenever this comes up for me, well, also number 5, number of change, back to the butterfly, right? The transformation and metamorphosis there. Also with the snake, with the Cobra energy as well. That's also a symbol of change and relates to Temperance, because there's an aspect of shedding the skin and releasing it so that you can go forward, right? But there's also a state of being vulnerable within that as well. So there's something about that. There's a vulnerability that wants to come to the forefront for you. And I feel like that's your superpower in a way. But when the Hierophant comes up as advice, this always says to me that trust that everything is going to work out exactly as it's meant to be, and that there's nothing for you to do except not get in your own way. Which is why this is such great advice, because it's like, it feels like this advice is like you going up to the teacher and being like, you know, what's my homework? And them just going like, there's nothing for you to do. You've handed in your work all semester. I haven't finished grading it yet, but it's, you know, it's all good. Like, just do you, just know, just relax, just be, right? So it's interesting here with the Hierophant, but this is also, given that this is also a major, you have 2 other major arcanas here as well, with the Temperance and the Sun. This is a very, it's an important time. What else can I say? Major arcanas denote a point in your experience where there are soul lessons being learned and your soul path is being formed in real time. Knight of Swords as well. So with that, there is a special attention being called to this time for you as well. I also want to say that even though we're looking at the first half of June, technically, I feel like I'm looking at longer than that. I almost feel like we're looking at maybe the whole month of June even. So it's like an aspect of it that we'll look more at in the second half of June reading. But I feel like I'm looking at a larger scope here. But yes, the Hierophant is your advice could not be better, because again, it just says like, just trust and know everything's going to work out as it's meant to, and that there's really nothing for you to do except not get in your own way with it, and stay in your knowing, stay in your faith, stay in your trust. But again, I feel like some of this is diagnostic body shop work for you while you're being aligned to where you're going. Does that make sense? So that when you show up, you've got all your parts working, you have full autonomy, and you're in your adult. Versus, I'm seeing a car that's picked up a lot of cans. Like, you know, when someone gets married and they do the cans off the back of the car, I'm seeing like the equivalent of like Scorpio, like driving up to the next part of the road as it reveals itself with like a bunch of old cans from the past. And Spirit is showing me the whole point, the whole opportunity of this time for you is to really be aware of the cans so that you can release the cans. That's what it is. Let's get an oracle. I'm feeling like the feathered messengers. Let's do it. Oracle for... Oh, that took no time at all. Oh! I'm so here for it. Osprey. I don't know if I've ever gotten this bird before out of this deck. I'm loving it. Osprey. Your success is now at hand. Allow the abundance to flow to you effortlessly. Hello and goodbye and hello again. Your success is now at hand. Allow the abundance to flow to you effortlessly. Were we not just talking about all you have to do is just like see the cans, let them go, and just know that everything is aligning for you? I remember how we talked about it's just about doing that, not getting in your own way in the process. Allow the abundance to flow to you effortlessly. I'm so here for it. You know, also the two cups there with the flowing of the effortless. It's interesting as well. I feel like there's another meaning in this, because let me just share something with you as this is coming up for you guys. You know, I have found, especially recently, that the more I put myself out there in terms of what I need, who I am, I've been doing this new series on the channel called This Is Me. That was so terrifying for me. Like for so long, like me sharing, like even amongst like trusted friends, it does not come naturally to me. Why? Because of my past, darling. That and because I'm an Aquarius and a Scorpio moon. So there's that aspect as well, but it does not come naturally to me. But as I've been doing that more and more, I have been able to, by bringing myself into the light, right? I have attracted people to me and help and opportunity that is so uniquely tailored, like to and for me, that I never would have had I kept that light of mine hidden in a bushel and kept the best parts of me, my most powerful aspects, the parts that make me uniquely me, my story. If I had kept them hidden, I would not have had all that has been coming to me, attracted to me, that is helping me on my path forward. I'm telling you guys, this is what I'm getting for you. That the more that you put yourself out there, the more that you embrace autonomy around anything that's from the past that you could be carrying forward, the more that you are able to really spend the most time in your adult, acting from the present moment, trusting that everything is aligning within your highest and best good, and that to shift uncomfortably around anything that may frighten you, right? Or ask you to come out of your comfort zone is all within the greater purpose of your success is now at hand. Allow the abundance to flow to you effortlessly. Notice how it says allow the abundance. That indicates that permission is needed.